if you like betting on golf, but everyone that you back misses the cut. Get some experts involved with all the stats and the tips and so much more, 'cause it's the golf betting system, the golf betting system, it's the golf betting system podcast.
Greetings and welcome to the Golf Betting System podcast. It's episode 377. This is our 2025 DP World Tour Championship and Butterfield Bermuda Championship Tips podcast. Barry O'Hanrahan and Paul Williams join me, Steve Bamford, to discuss this week's DP World Tour finale and PGA Tour action. Good morning, gents.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, guys.
This podcast is for listeners of 18 and above. Please be gamble aware. You can visit gambleaware.org for more information. And of course, please bet responsibly. Visit our world famous golf betting system website where we have our in-depth betting previews for both the DP World Tour Championship and the Bermuda Championship. Paul has been in the stats lab pulling together this week's data. We have Earth Course strokes gained rankings, detailed Earth Course and Port Royal Course form, player form and combi sheets, plus new and old predictor models for both the DP World and the PGA Tour action this week. Paul, I don't know where you get the time to fit all this all in. You must be sleepless.
Well, it's last event of the season, Steve. We can sleep when the season's done.
It's very true. All of our content is available completely free of charge. There is no paywall or registration required. On X, Barry's at A Good Talk Golf. Paul is at Golf Betting. I am at Bamford Golf. On Bluesky, search for Steve Bamford and Paul Williams. Subscribe to the Steve Bamford Golf YouTube channel, where this podcast is available each and every week. As I always say on YouTube, if you could comment for the algorithm and also like the show, we would much appreciate it. Now, you guys as listeners power this podcast, so we need your 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. As ever, for those of you who leave a review, I'll read them out at the start of a future show. Leave your name and where you are in the review. As I promised last week, all of the reviews that we've had in, I will read them out before season close, which is next week's RSM Classic podcast. So I've got 2 here to read through. The first one, "G'day, mate." It's from Bocky in South Australia. It's entitled Between the Lines, 5 stars. A gem of a podcast from the gentleman of golf tipping. Highly recommended, especially if listeners learn from the conversation as well as the actual listed tips. There are gold specks of opinion for futures and DraftKings markets if you listen between the lines. Bocky, thanks for that one. That's fantastic. A second one here. This is from A Luigi76 and he's in Singapore. Entitled Keep Up the Great Work. Excellent podcast, guys. I have been tuning in since the summer and have not missed an episode of the Golf Betting System podcast. This is quite possibly the most in-depth and golf podcast available on Apple Podcasts. Strongly recommend, 5 stars. Thank you for both of those reviews. Very, very good. Much appreciated.
Cheers, gents.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant stuff. That must be our first Singaporean review, Steve. I can't remember one historically from there.
No, I can't. Between the lines. Basically,
just about to say, yeah.
Forget about what they're tipping or who they're tipping. They will mention the winner or someone that will go well, but they won't have actually put any money on.
Yeah. I think if you put that Australian into Google Translate, that's approximately what comes out, yeah. If you read between the lines, these lads couldn't hit a nail on a head with a giant mallet.
Harsh but fair. No, that's absolutely right. There's a lot of data, a lot of detail that goes into the thought processes, and of course you tend to kind of flirt around some of the potential winners and some of the facts and stats that are actually going to shape how the event plays out. Sometimes we get it all right, sometimes we don't. So hopefully, as Bocky said, you can pluck something out from the conversation as we go through.
Last week, Ben Griffin destroyed me. Thanks for that, Ben. You don't like him, do you, Barry? I saw a WhatsApp message. You don't like the cut of his jibe, do you?
No. Something awkward about the swing or the flow or the energy. Just no, doesn't sit well for some reason.
I said to Paul on Friday when Sami Valimaki, the Prince of Paspalum, had started so quickly, and we were you on, Barry? I know. Paul and I were.
I was.
It was a podcast. Full vote of confidence. I said to Paul, that Ben Griffin is going to do us. And he just kept within 2 or 3 shots every single round. And I'm thinking, oh, God, this isn't good.
Thanks for building the prophecy that killed us, Steve. That's
Don't blame me. Just to throw in here, because I always like getting this in here for regular listeners, my profit and loss isn't good this year. I've had Kirk at the Rocket Classic 70-1, second. I had Higo a few weeks ago at the Sanderson Farms 45-1, second. And now I've got Valimaki 150-1, second.
We could have done
I'm not listing each way places beyond that. They're guys that have literally finished second. I am the king of second places. Undoubtedly. The only guy that ever gets over the line for me is Rory McIlroy at the Masters. And my God, wasn't that painful to watch. And of course, Scotty Scheffler.
Well, I don't know, I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, it's a shame it's...
Yeah, but it was painful, wasn't it? I mean, come on. Only decided you quid on him.
That was the best kind of pain. It was the best kind of pain, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that Griffin was holding absolutely everything on the Sunday that he needed to. It was
absurd.
Yeah, you can't. It's the kind of event, isn't it, where you've got to carry on making birdie after birdie after birdie. And I was also on Garrick Higo, and I thought that he may be the one that could actually stop Griffin winning that, but you can't afford to make a mistake. You can't afford to make the mistake that he did. On, was it the 12th? I think, wasn't it, where he made double. Because everyone's moving forward, everyone's making birdies, everyone's making eagles. You make a bogey, you're slipping backwards dramatically. You make a double, then kind of sayonara. So.
I did say, you're shooting 67 on the final round, you're not going forwards. 67 on Sunday. No good.
Not on that course. It was like, it's amazing that the scoring level these guys get to. It kind of baffles the mind that they can just do it day after day after day, and starts making you wonder if is the course set up in this like weird cheating way to like make it happen, that the pins are in all these funnel locations so you can hit the ball on any line, it'll go in. It's nuts that they can do it. It's so impressive.
Drag strip fairways helps as well, and interesting to see
for sure. Yeah,
you know, you got the likes of Nick Dunlap, who's been awful from off the tee all season, comes to a course where it's, well, I'd say almost impossible, but Garrick Higo proves that that's not the case. But almost impossible to hit or to miss fairways, and then he's suddenly popped from absolute oblivion to leading that tournament after the first round and being in the mix all the way through. Only dropped away a little bit towards the end where he just couldn't quite keep up with the pace, but.
He's finding it, Dunlap, slowly. Slowly finding it. And Bocky, all right, how are you, mate? Bocky, are you listening? Here's a little gem for you. Keep your eye on Nick Dunlap on desert golf courses next season, because he is an absolute desert rat. He loves desert golf courses.
Bit of width.
Yeah, he doesn't feel... he's got to sort the driver out for somewhere like PGA West, but... somewhere like Scottsdale, the waste management, oh yeah, a little bit wider. He does love his desert golf, Dunlap does, so he's coming back, I think. Anyway, I suppose, what can you do? Valimaki, 150-1 with our friends at BetMGM.
Yep.
Fantastic price, and he got a full each way return. So I was happy, but disappointed. Now, DP World Tour... Abu Dhabi. That was another one. We had runners and riders, didn't we, at prices? Keita Nakajima being one of them.
Yeah, Nakajima. I had Noren, Kanter. All three of them were top 10 going into the weekend, and none of them could keep up with the pace in the end, which was sorely disappointing. Nakajima was the closest of the finishers, but just a couple of shots outside the each way places in the end. But yeah, exciting finish though. Lots of players in it at various points. Hillier again, as Barry said to us in the group chat during the course of the conversation, was right in the mix until he made his kind of customary double on the way back home.
I may have jinxed him. Or I may have just prophesized it. I have nothing against Hillier, but I've just seen that thing happen a couple of times. Gets in right in that situation, and then kablamo. And that's certainly not a good one with 4 holes to go to make a double and a bogey, and then to finish only 3 shots out of the lead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, expensive, and in terms of this PGA Tour promotion, could be fatal.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been there or thereabouts, and I've been on him a few times to no avail. But I guess eventually it will go right, and he won't make that mistake on the Sunday, and he'll win again because he has won before. He has proven that he can do it, and I'm sure he will do it again. But yeah, to the winner, Aaron Rai. Looking at the stats out of it, led the field for strokes gained approach, second for strokes gained tee to green, and that really does work at Yas Links. So you could see why that combination was there. Hadn't played since Wentworth, so you're going back a couple of months since he was third at Wentworth. So
got married.
Yeah, it was got other priorities. The boy, which fair enough. But after you could expect him to be a little bit rusty, but no, held his nerve to beat Tommy in the playoff, and Tommy's been the in-form player over the last few weeks and months. So a big feather in his cap there.
He was clearly still euphoric from the wedding ceremony.
Yeah. The wedding band bouncer, the baby bounce.
Yeah. Paul's going to start a new database. The wedding band bounce.
Strokes gained honeymoon factor. Yeah.
I doubt if many were on Rai purely because you'd look at him and go, oh, he must be a bit rusty.
Yes, that was the point, wasn't it? And also the point that at 22-1, he's one you could kind of leave out because there's so little juice in his price. But Aaron Rai, we've been on him a few times collectively and individually over the course of the last couple of seasons now on the PGA Tour, and he's stepped up to another level. He's a very, very good player. He putts well enough now that when he does have a good week, either with his approach or tee to green or a combination of the two, as per last week, then he can push the very best.
He is now 23rd in the world, one spot below Patrick Cantlay, who never wins, and he's above the likes of Sam Burns, Shane Lowry, and another perennial non-winner, Corey Connors. So Rai, playing really well, isn't he?
He is.
Established himself at the elite level.
Yep. Well done to him.
One to watch on a little shorter test next season over in the States.
I mean, there's one coming up in 1.5 weeks' time. Would you target him for the RBC Heritage?
Yeah. An interesting one, isn't it?
Do you mean the RSM Classic?
There we go. Sorry.
I was getting confused because I'm thinking that's the week after the Masters. But you put a curveball. I doubt if he'll travel, to be honest. But yeah, potentially if he's playing it. Maybe he's going out there for the wiffle board.
It's Harbour Town I was after. End of season brain mush.
He does live out in the States now, so he might be nipping down there. Let's go through the top 10. To be fair, there is no change. Penge, we know, Rattan, Sadier, Parry, Noren, Laurie Cantor, they're all in. So those 6 playing PGA Tour next year. The ones that are slightly in doubt, Hao Tong, 7, Daniel Brown, 8, Nakajima, 9. And it was always going to be this way with Jordan Smith, wasn't it? He's the one on the boat. It's going to be painful to watch for Jordan Smith. Is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? At the moment, he's got roughly a 140-point gap to 11th placed Martin Couvra. I did say it was expensive. Daniel Hillier's at 12. He jumped 3 spots in the rankings, but he's still outside. You've got Rasmus Niergaard Petersen, can't putt at the moment. Elvis Smiley. And then I'm going down to Joachim Lagergren and Angel Aora. Now, Paul, from what you were saying, there's some big money. I mean, it's $12 million prize fund this week, and there are huge points available at the DP World Tour Championship. So it makes sense to crack on. Short man field, earth course, take it away.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, short field. So after 11 months, we're going all the way back to the Aussie PGA last year when the race to Dubai started. After 11 months, we're at the finale once again, and as is the standard setup for this, we've got the top 50 players available in the race to Dubai here. That's everybody except Victor Hovland, who's chosen not to play. And plus, we've also got Ludwig Oberg and Shane Lowry, who both get into the field by virtue of their Ryder Cup appearance. So that makes it 52 players in attendance. But yes, certainly a short field. Fabulous event, though. Of course, you've got the prize fund, you've got the bonus pool. You've got 2,000 race to Dubai points available to the winner, and then that cascades down as you work through the final finishing position. So there's lots to play for. There was certainly, and there wasn't, I think you just said there was virtually no movement with the top 10 positions, for these 10 PGA Tour cards, but you'd expect with the number of points on show up for grabs this week in Dubai that will be different, and there'll be a certain amount of jostling. It's also important because if you look at the top of the list, Rory leads the points list by around 800 points over Marco Penge and 1,700 points over Tyrrell Hatton. So with 2,000 points to the winner, Tyrrell can just about get there should he win, and Rory needs to finish, well, outside the top 10, probably outside the top 13, 14, something like that. It depends on ties. Marco Penge, again, well, ideally needs to win. He could just about make it with a second place finish, and Rory would need to finish way down. But for Penge, I think really it's a case of win and hope. Tyrrell, it's definitely a case of win, and Rory has a capitulation. So both of them need to do something special. It looks like it's champion-elect Rory once again. I don't think the market thinks anything particular is going to happen either in terms of how this will pan out. McIlroy is the well-backed 4-1 favourite for this. Anything more than 4-1 has been quickly snaffled up during the course of the first 24 hours or so since the markets went up. We did see a little bit of 9-2. We did see a little bit of just over 4-1, but everything's been converging on this 4-1 price point. So that's where he'll start, I'm sure. That seems pretty fair to me. Tommy Fleetwood, 6-1 in spot, second favourite. And then you've got the likes of Tyrrell Hatton at 12, Bob McIntyre 12-1, Ludwig Oberg 14-1, two-time winner Matt Fitzpatrick 14-1, also 16-1 bar. Fantastic field as you'd expect. We haven't got the likes of John Rahm here this year, which might have elevated some of the prices just a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting in that respect. But even so, you can't grumble. With it being a short field, the each way terms are typically standard. 5 1/4 or 6 1/5 is what you're looking at. Do shop about though, because if you go into some of the deeper markets, Betfred do have their 8th place 1/5 market available for this event, and Bet365 both also have their 8 1/5. They've also got a 10 place and a 5th market available. So given it's just over 50 players, if you do want to cover off as many each way places as you possibly can, then make sure you check out some of those deeper markets that are available from both Betfred and Bet365. Now, the course, as ever, we're going back to the Earth course here in Dubai. Slightly extended. It's now 7,706 yard par 72. Typical desert affair designed by Greg Norman. 4 par 5s, 2 of which are well over 620 yards. We've got the island green par 3 17th and these big undulating Bermuda grass greens, which will be a slight change from last week's Paspalum. They don't tend to be quite as receptive as Paspalum greens in general, so expect them to be a little bit firmer or faster, or firmer and faster than last week. So slightly different test, but yeah, certainly still a score to be made around these parts. Now, we've been coming here since 2009, so there's plenty of course history on the event history page on the site this week, so do check that out. Last 5 winners, just for a bit of a flavour. Matt Fitzpatrick in 2020, he won at 16-1. Colin Morikawa 15-2. John Rahm won in 2022 at 5-1. Nikolai Højgaard 22-1 in 2023 we were on, and we were also on Rory McIlroy last year at 5-1. Actually got a half decent record in this overall, so hopefully we can keep that run going this year. Now, overall, Rory's won this 3 times, Rahm's won this 3 times, Matt Fitzpatrick's won it twice, Henrik Stenson's won it twice, so it does tend to be quite a specialised test in terms of what's required. Winning scores have been generally between 15 and 21 under in recent times. It's been toughened up a little bit from the heady days when Henrik Stenson used to win this at kind of 23, 25 under, so a little bit tighter than that. 15 under was the total for Rory last year, so it can have a little bit of defence. It's not likely to have any defence from the elements though this week. Looking at the forecast, dry, sunny conditions expected, light winds. Temperatures, well, into the low 30s Celsius, so that's the high 80s, maybe just into the low 90s Fahrenheit. So yeah, I can see this being a mid to high teens under par winning total, which is pretty standard for this particular event. Statistically, length of the tee helps here. Højgaard in 2023 and also Rory last year, both of them led the field for driving distance. Traditional stats, hitting greens tends to be the key, and of course you're going to need to have a decent enough week on the greens to complement those greens hit with birdies made. The par 5s are fairly critical. You've got to be, I don't know, -9, -10 over the course of the week for the long holes to really stand a chance of winning. Got to keep bogeys off your card. I guess I don't want to describe it as boring because that's not the case, but it's kind of a methodical course where you've just got to steadily accumulate a score on the correct holes during the course of the week and slowly advance without having any significant disasters, I guess, is probably the way forward. Strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained tee to green with the key stats from all of our winners here, followed by strokes gained approach. So it really is a long game test, this particular course. Rory last year, for reference, he was second for strokes gained off the tee, second for strokes gained approach, first for strokes gained tee to green. That tends to get the job done around the Earth course if you can perform like that with your long game. Other bits to pluck out then. Recent form. Now, all of our winners, going back all the way to 2009, actually had a top 7 in one of their previous 6 starts. More recently, it's been more immediate form that's been the highlight, I guess. Morikawa was 7th on his previous start coming into this when he won. Rahm was 4th on his most recent win. Højgaard 2nd at the Nedbank prior to winning this a couple of years ago. And then Rory was 3rd in Abu Dhabi last year and then came here to win 12 months ago. So a good warm-up on the previous outings, no bad thing. Looking at course form, well, if you go back to John Ryan when he won on debut back in 2017, that's kind of the exception to the rule. Every winner since had a top 10 finish here prior to victory. So a good record here is no bad thing. Good form in the desert's worth a look. So you've got the Dubai Desert Classic from earlier in the season, Abu Dhabi last week, of course, Qatar, and a few other Middle East events that are dotted around the early part of the DP World Tour schedule. So there's plenty of pointers, plenty of ways and angles that you can go and delve into this particular event. For me, though, ultimately, it's who's got the long game and the mental strength to win this. Going to the players that I've actually picked, it's the final event of the DP World Tour season, so it would be nice to go out in a blaze of glory, I guess. But trying to pluck out a long price winner probably isn't the way to play this. As I said, there's been plenty of relatively short price winners recently. You don't tend to find that those players that you'd want to be backing at mid and longer prices are really going to get themselves into the mix and potentially win the tournament. It does tend to go almost to form. So I've backed just 2 this week. I couldn't go much further than that because of the way that I've structured my staking plan. So I'll go through my headline, which won't come as a shock for anyone, and I'll bring you boys in and see how you want to play the top of the market. If you look at the numbers, 4 of the past 6 winners have been single-digit odds. So for me, if you gave Rory McIlroy, just a handful of goes at this in his current form, would it justify backing him at 4-1? My views, yes. I think, if you gave him 4 or 5 attempts at this, would in his current state of game, would he win enough to justify 4-1? Yeah, absolutely. So, as boring as it might be, I've backed Rory to win this week and to take home the Race to Dubai title again, of course, which will come into become part and parcel of winning this particular event and winning the DP World Tour Championship, which would be for a record 4th time. Now, apart from Rory, the other short price winners here have been John Rahm, Colin Morikawa in recent years. Neither of them are here. If one of those guys or other players that you could really make a case for were in attendance, then perhaps it would sway my opinion a bit. But I can't get away from him. Tommy and Tyrrell both got 2 runner-up finishes, and I think they're worthy second and third favourites, but their course form here is not remotely a pat on Rory's 3 wins. So I can't go past him. Loves the course, motivated to get a step closer to Monty's 8 Order of Merit titles. Of course, this would be 7. Should he win the Race to Dubai this week, which will come, as I say, part and parcel of winning this particular title. If he wins here, there's nothing that Marco Penge or Tyrrell Hatton can do in that respect. He just he's the architect of his own destiny, I guess, this week. Recent form, 26th in India, 3rd last week, closed with a flawless 10 under par 62 last week. 3rd for strokes gained tee to green in the week, putts dropping on Sunday. For me, 4-1, best price you're going to get now, champion-elect, Rory McIlroy mops up and does the job, I think. I've got one other, little bit more, or a little longer price, but certainly not a lot much further down the list. What about you, Barry? Are you going anywhere near the top of the market? You having a little saver on Rory this week?
I will do, yeah. I think you've put it perfectly, Paul. Like, if you run this tournament 4 or 5 times, does he win it once? And I think yes. And I actually think I feel like he wins it more than once. So I think it's a very nice price. Not very nice, but it's better. I don't feel like I'm getting ripped off by the price. I feel like we've got a little bit of an edge there. So, I'll be doing that. I'm going to stick with Nakajima. This seems like madness, but then I make no excuses to anybody but myself. So I'm going to go with it. Another good week last week. Was solid here last year as well. So I think it's that kind of it's not really a plotters thing, but like you just said, it's just like consistent building of score. And last week, the way he played last week was that exact kind of vibe. There was only 3 bogeys the whole week, no doubles, so it was just building the whole way along. So hopefully that kind of continues into this week, and if he can hit the score he did last week in this tournament, he'll be right up there.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree. I think if there would have been, if I'd have had space in my staking plan for another longer price, then maybe I would have gone with Nakajima. I've been on him a fair bit over the last few weeks, and yeah, as we said last week, he's got a pretty high ceiling. So we'll see how he gets on. So was any more from you, or shall I move on to Stephen?
I have one other, but it's a bit closer to the 100 to 1, so I'll hold off for a moment.
Yeah, we'll bring you in towards the end then. Steve, what about you? Any shorties or any fancies towards the top end?
I have. I was when I was watching I'm going around the houses. I know it's not like me. Ryder Cup. Andrew Coulthard, he just kept saying Russell Henley, world number 3. Every time I was watching Russell Henley, world number 3, I'm thinking, for a guy like myself, where Russell Henley is on the post-it note of doom, don't just keep rubbing it in my face, Russell Henley number 3 in the world. But he's down to number 5, by the way. Xander's overtaken him. Our perennial non-winner, Russell Henley, is down to 5th in the world. Xander's overtaken him after his win in Japan. And Tommy Fleetwood has overtaken him. So we now got Tommy Fleetwood at 4th in the world, Russell Henley down to 5th. So that's all good. Old Andrew's going to have to revise his script, and he's now world number 5, Russell Henley.
I think you and Andrew would have a serious Barney if you ever got in a room together.
Potentially.
I'd say just massive disagreements of opinion.
It's unlikely, though, isn't it? But yeah, you're probably right. I'm going for Tommy, I can see this. I'm just hoping. I'm really looking forward to this week. I'm just hoping it's going to be a massive head-to-head. Fleetwood versus McIlroy. I think it'd be absolutely fascinating to watch. So I've gone, and he's drifting like a barge. I've now literally backed him this morning. 13-2 win only, Tommy Fleetwood. Going for the Tour Championship and DP World Tour Championship double. FedEx Cup champion from the PGA Tour this year. Second here in 2019, second in 2023 in the form of his life. Now, if Tommy turns up and plays the golf he has been playing, and Rory turns up and plays even 90% of what he can do around the Earth course, it's going to be a fascinating watch.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
That's what
narrative.
I'm hoping for. Head to head. Bring it on.
Tommy going for the 2 trophies, the 2 tour trophies, is a very interesting angle.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't looked into it. Has anyone ever done that? The only one I can potentially think of would clearly be Rory. Maybe Henrik Stenson a few years ago. He definitely Stenson took out the FedEx Cup. But I'm trying to think of some. It would take a chat GBT search or some detailed time. Has anyone ever done that? This is clearly. I mean, Rory's going to win unless Marco Penja's the week from heaven. Rory is going to win the Order of Merit, but actually winning the Tour Championship and DP World Tour Championship, same 2 years.
Yeah. No, should Tommy. If there's a player that's in the kind of form that could compete and stand up to Rory, then yeah, I'd agree that it probably is Tommy. I wonder just when push comes to the shove whether he could beat him.
We'll find out. That's
the
fascinating aspect.
And to your point, from a spectacle perspective, should they both be, slugging it out on Sunday afternoon, then yeah, it would be it would be great. 2
most popular players on the DP World Tour. I don't think that'd be pushing the boat out with them. I mean, Tommy's got masses of fans. Rory clearly is. I think it would just be an awesome view come Sunday.
So you're right on Henrik Stenson. He won both in 2013.
Yeah.
the tournaments. So, but I'm just
That's right.
checking on. I'm checking on the
I can remember Stenson doing it.
overalls.
It's a bit of a sketchy guess, but yeah, Stenson was the only one I could think of. Unless it was Rory, but yes.
That's an unbelievable thing to do. So, like, if Tommy did this, like, that's serious. It would cap off his year as well. Like, you wouldn't, the way things have been going for Tommy this year, you wouldn't bat an eyelid if he wins this week.
In a way, I was watching the playoff on Sunday and I wanted Aaron Rye to win because I cannot see Tommy going win-win. I can see Tommy going second, first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who's your other selection, Paul?
Yeah, the other one I've backed is Nikolai Højgaard, who, well, he opened at 25-1, which I thought was an incredible price, but that price has been absolutely hammered since then. He's a general 16-1, but I can see why. He won here in 2023, and that was off the back of a runner-up finish the week before, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. Third last week, he just missed that eagle putt on 18 on Sunday, and that would have taken him into the playoffs. So it would have been a three-way playoff, and things could have been very, very different. But those are the fine lines of this game that we play. Statistically, last week, 6th for strokes gained off the tee, 2nd for strokes gained approach, 1st for strokes gained tee to green. That statistically is absolutely perfect preparation for this. So. As I said, we've seen lots of repeat winners of this in the past, and he's got a bit to play for. The PGA Tour card's sewn up, but he is 70th at the moment in the world rankings, so he could do with a big week to get him up and around that top 50 as we head towards the festive period. And for me, if Rory doesn't win, and notwithstanding what you said about Tommy, which I get the argument, I really do, then perhaps Nikolai can pick up the pieces if it isn't Rory at the top. So yeah, just Rory and each way on Nikolai Højgaard for me this week. Now you've got 100-1 short. Go on, Steve.
Well, I'm going to jump in on the Højgaard boat as well. I opened a BetMGM account a couple of weeks ago. I managed to snag that 150-1 with Valimaki last week. They were short, I think I saw 80s and 70s elsewhere. And we've always said this BetMGM angle now, it replaces what Unibet used to do. So you get these outstanding prices. So I put a link again to their new customer offer at the top of the podcast. I think it's bet 10, get 40.
It is, yeah.
When I saw 25-1 on Nikolai Højgaard, I was on there as quick as a flash yesterday afternoon. Could not believe it. Funnily enough, Paul, that OWGR angle is really, really good because when he won this in 2023, he ranked 70th in the world and he jumped to 50th.
Yeah.
This week,
Perfect.
70th in the world again. So, yeah. Wins this, takes this out, more than likely going to get that Masters invite for 2026.
It'll be on the cusp of it regardless, depends how the numbers work out, and you've still got the early part of the next year to get yourself inside that top 50.
Well, he gets on that private jet and flies out to the RSM Wiffle Board Classic next week and does enough just to sneak in. Yeah.
Potentially. But yeah, no, you're right. That 25-1 was a standout price, and there was some prices close to that. But yeah, he's been really popular, and I can absolutely see why.
Barry, what is your 100-1 choice? Fascinated on this one.
Not quite 100. So I was there was a little bit of a misleading headline, but for the 5 places, or I think it's 5 places, I can get him at 90-1. I think I can get him 6. Here we go. I might actually have to open a BetMGM account here because he's 6 places, 150 odds with them for 100-1. It's John Parry. Not the longest off the tee, but just I would just say like a consistent tee to green merchant.
His approach play is his strength.
Yeah, well, I plugged it. He popped on a couple of the the models I was doing, the predictor models, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Hang on a second. So I maxed out tee to green and gave 7 to strokes gained approach just to have a look there. And he's come out in 6th there. So that's Rye, Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Loughton, Lowry, Parry are the top 6. So that got me interested because of the price. And had a look at some, last week and a few of his desert results. Nothing there to turn me off. So I'll just kind of give it a whirl. I'll find the... See, can I open MGM, or do I need to provide a blood sample before they let me put a bet on?
No, I think you'd be okay, Barry.
You're okay. Right. I'm really looking forward to that tournament. I'm hoping it's going to be an absolute classic way to end the sort of golfing season.
Fingers crossed.
Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, we travel to the Bermuda Championship, sponsored by Butterfield. It's a little bit like after the Lord Mayor's show, isn't it? But I got quite excited over this one. Do you know why? This is the reason why. 300 to 1, Rafael Campos is the defending champion. Camilo Villegas won at 150 to 1, coming off a second place the week before. Herbert 80 to 1, Gay 200 to 1, Todd 100 to 1. The only shorty to pour vinegar on the chips, if you don't like vinegar, was Seamus Power in 2022. He won this at 22 to 1. So, yes, it's a bit like a needle in a haystack job, but if you can find, you're likely to get a winner that's 80 to 1 or above this week. What tends to happen, and you see this most years here, you'll get an 18 to 22 to 1 shot right in contention. So 2023, it was Alex Noren. Seamus Power won here in 2022, of course. You'll get a shorty up there. I think Ben Griffin was there or thereabouts last year, 18 to 1 favourite, but didn't win. And then one of these outlandish prices actually gets the job done, or is potentially going to get the job done. Thomas Dietrich was also 18 to 1 joint favourite. He finished second to Power in 2022. Noren was 25 to 1. And last year we had Andrew Novak at 30 to 1, who finished runner-up to Rafael Campos at 300 to 1. By the way, ADC was 400 to 1. Adrian Dumont de Chassard. He's playing PGA Tour again next year, chap. So there's going to be lots of fun with that. So, yeah, let's try and find a rather large price winner was my MO this week. The golf course is Coastal, Port Royal Golf Course, Southampton, Bermuda. I won't come out with the statistic that this has got the most amount of golf courses in the world by density. I won't mention that. Golf course itself, short, very short, 6,828 yards. It's a par 71 as well. Agronomy is interesting. Fairways of the front 9 are 419 Bermuda grass. The back 9 are 419 Bermuda grass with zoysia. You won't find that anywhere else. Bermuda with zoysia grass rough. And the greens are large. This is really funny. For a 6,828 yard par 71, the greens are 8,000 square feet on average. Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass. So plenty of courses with Tiff Eagle, Florida and the likes. The Zoysia link's interesting as well. So yeah, it's kind of typical southern or southeastern United States agronomy that we're looking for. The score here is always, and this is coastal golf in general, isn't it? Always dictated by the wind. Now, Camilo Villegas won here at 24 under par in 23, but there was barely any wind to note, yeah? More of a sort of 10 to 15 most days. So the scoring there was a lot lower. Last year, in stronger winds, it became a mid-score affair. 19 under par, Rafael Campos. The same with Power in 2022. 22. If it really howls, Lucas Herbert won here at 15 under par, as did Brian Gay. Forecast, I haven't checked this morning. I was too busy putting my Tommy Fleetwood bet on, but...
It's windy.
Yes. So I think it's going to be a great golfing weekend. I know this is, I mean, the listeners of this, they love their golf betting and they love their golf. I think this week's really interesting. You're going to have this DP World Tour shenanigans going off over here, sort of morning into lunchtime in the UK time. And then you're going to tune in and you're going to see this wind fest over in Bermuda. So I think on a coastal golf course, I think it's going to be a really good mix. Nothing else really to say. I mean, you guys can chip in. I like the course. It reminds me of El Chameleon, where they used to play the WWT all those years ago. And in Brendan Todd, Brian Gay, there's plenty of crossover. Seamus Power, Cameo as well. I've actually had a good old dabble on this, and I've gone for... Paul must have been cheesed off. I just kept sending over more and more selections. I think I've gone for 6.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
6, yeah, but 4 of which are 100 to 1 and above.
I like it.
I thought to myself, who's that guy sub 30 to 1 who's going to be right up in the mix? And I came up with Nico Echeverria. So I'm on him, 2 points each way, 22 to 1, bet 365, 8 places each way. Nico Echeverria, Colombian, 2 PGA Tour wins, 1 in a very windy renewal, Corrales, or was it Puerto Rico? It was one or t'other. Oh, it's Puerto Rico 2023. And then last year, he was the guy that upset Justin Thomas over in Japan. There was a shootout, Justin Thomas versus Nico Echeverria. The whole world of betting, golf betting, were on JT to win, and Nico Echeverria beat him over at the Zozo. Now, that golf course features Zoysia grass fairways, so there's these tenuous links, but I just like Echeverria this week. He's outside the top 60 in the FedEx Cup full. So if he wants to get into those 2 signature events at the start of next year in California, he needs to finish top 60. There's a carrot there. He's also 58th in the he's 58th in the world. Big carrot, as we know. Masters invite. I think he's going to go well this week, Nico Echeverria. The sort, he's hitting some greens at the moment, and we all know very good short game, excellent putter. Played the course fairly regularly. He's played okay. So I just think Nico Echeverria, he's the one I took 22 to 1, bet 365, 8 places each way towards the top of the market. I will say there is definitely also a case to be made for one that I've been backing recently and have walked away from. Take note. Bjorn Olsen, who, when you look at his DP World Tour most of the courses he wins at, Paul, tend to be either on the coast or very close to the coast.
Yeah, he can play. He can play windy coastal conditions. Absolutely.
Mm. Now, my next selection is 66s. Then I said I'm out in the sort of wilds after that. I've no idea who you two are going for. So, Paul, where are you chiming in?
I've got one at 50s. I share the 66 to 1 shot with you, and I've got another at 3 figures.
Okay. Take us through your 50 to 1 shot and tell me it's not Matt Kuchar.
No, it's not Matt.
Oh, thank the Lord.
I did have a good look at it.
I
but
bet you were thinking about it, weren't you?
I was, but he was being backed really quite heavily yesterday, and some of the early prices maybe, but when he was starting to shorten dramatically.
I was half tempted, Paul, and you know he's on the post-it note of doom, but 40 to 1 didn't turn me on.
He's the sort that, would he finish 11th last week? He probably finishes 8th or 9th this week, or 7th or something like that, and then potentially the week after goes and wins. He builds and builds and builds, doesn't he, Matt? He
tends to.
Yeah, it felt like it might be a week early. The problem is, if he plays next week and he does finish in that kind of position, he'll probably be 25. So, even shorter, but so be it. No, the one I've backed is Seamus Power, previous winner, 50-1. Never missed a cut here, won in 2022, and seems to be improving now that push has come to shove at this
Needs to.
back end of the season. Yeah, he does. 133rd in the full series points list. So needs to do something if he's going to get himself, 125 is for the conditional status, isn't it? So needs to elevate himself a bit from where he is now if he's going to have a half decent schedule next year. But it has been improving. 4 cuts on the 27th last week, 16th going into Sunday. And just digging through some of his raw stats, and the strokes gained stats get a bit patchy this time of the year over on the PGA Tour, so you do lean a little heavier on the traditional stats. But in Utah, he was 2nd for driving accuracy and 9th for greens in reg, and then last week he was 8th for scrambling at the WWT. So all of those elements of his game seem to have been firing in recent weeks. And he's coming into an event and a course that he knows very well. So I thought 50-1 was a fair price, personally.
Just to explain to listeners, and I know I've mentioned this a lot, but I think from a motivational situation, it does need to be spoken about. Top 100 get full tour playing privileges for 2026. So they pick their own schedule. They can play wherever they want, apart from the signature events. But there's this conditional status, which is, and Paul's just mentioned it there with Seamus Power, 101 through 125. You then get conditional status for 2026, where effectively you're going to get into most fields, most weaker events. So effectively, you'll still be playing PGA Tour, but it's going to be playing events like the American Express. You're not going to get into events like, what would be an example? Oh, God. You're not going to get into the stronger events like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Cognizant Classic or something that's around a major or stuff like that. Maybe even a Sony Open. They struggle. That fills up really quickly and will next year because it's going to be the first event on the PGA Tour.
Yes, the early events of the season tend to be well populated, don't they?
If you're outside that top 125, you really are then. It's just what the crumbs that are falling from the table. And a lot of players at that point will say, well, do you know what? I need to have a Corn Ferry dabble or go back to the DP World Tour if you're European. Or join it, potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
So, this 101 through 125 level, do not just get sucked into top 100. The conditional status is also very, very important. And Seamus, as Paul said, he's right in trouble, 133 at the moment. And he has no win exemptions to fall back on. Barry, are you still working your selections through, and shall I go on with my next selection, or?
I think I match up with a couple here, Steve. Unfortunately for one of us or both of us, I'm picking up one of the same from last week, Justin Lauer.
His form is insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane. Justin Lauer's form here. I don't know if that's good or bad, but the thing I do love about Lauer is he needs to play well this week. He's 108th in the FedEx Cup. So, he's got status. He'll have conditional. That's not a problem. But if he wants, the top 100 and the prestige that goes with the fat, and let's be frank, if you're finishing top 100 on the PGA Tour, now that they've cut it by 25 spots, you're doing well. So Valimaki managed to get it last week, didn't he? So Sammy's going to be playing PGA Tour next year. He's jumped up to 76th. Chad Ramey did the same last week. He's now into 89th. He's basically in. But yes, I love Lauer. He's sitting currently at 108. And his form in here, form at this event is insane. He's had 4 goes around here, and I don't think he's ever finished outside the top 16, is it? He's had a 17th and 8th, 17th, 8th, 20th and 5th.
Yep, really solid.
Now, and this is the thing that really gets me. Oh, yeah, but he could do well at the RSM Classic next week, and yeah, he could. But his form there is miscut, 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 miscut. So he must be thinking, Khan, this is the chance, mate. He must be 100% focused and on it. So I managed to get 66 to 1 with BetMGM 6 places each way on Justin Lauer. I was too slow, but Boyle Sports chalked him up at 66 to 1, 8 places each way on first show, and it lasted for about 90 seconds.
Do the bookies do this just so they can say we were best price for and best odds for a moment that week, or they just say that they were, and even though it was only for 30 or 90 seconds?
What do you think?
It seems so disingenuous. Like there's no way the action happens that quickly on a price that it changes within 90 seconds.
I don't know. It's the alternative is there are punters sitting there waiting for.
Yeah.
For prices to come up, and I've been guilty of sitting there refreshing a particular bookmaker, waiting for a price, and the second it comes up, bang, you're in. And if there's a flood of money for a particular player because the price is market leading, then perhaps it's going to go. Or the price and terms, as Steve's just described there.
That goes on.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'll make it all 3 of us because I'm on Lauer as well. And,
were you on him last week? You've been sniffing around him for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I was on him last week. He was in decent shape to halfway last week. I think he was.
Yeah, the putter just started to go cold at the weekend. I think he was 9th at halfway.
Yeah, he was in decent shape. Just couldn't quite keep up with the pace. But the pace shouldn't be quite so frantic this week.
No,
I wouldn't have thought, particularly with the conditions. So
I'm thinking 18, 19s.
Yes. That feels a little bit more manageable, and as you said, cracking record here. Led to halfway last year, led after the first round, second round, so getting closer and closer, and 3rd in Utah before that as well. So he's been in some decent shape, and as you say, it's probably one that he thinks, well, I can go well here, and then feet up at the RSM next week.
As you would think, as you go down the rankings and as you go up the prices, the links get a little bit more tenuous. So, I mean, I'm backing players here that I don't usually back, clearly because they're not. I'm in this deeper price territory. Next one for me was Ben Silverman. He was 90 to 1 with Bet365, 8 places each way. He's the one that he just pops in and catches your attention very, very rarely. He was 3rd at the Bank of Utah Championship at Black Desert a few weeks ago. And again, 21st last week at the WWT. He's Canadian. He shot 68, 66, 67, 67, 67, 68, 64 across 7 of his past 8 rounds. He's 137th in the FedEx Fall Series. So there you go. So 12 places outside conditional. Let's be frank, Ben Silverman will be playing Corn Ferry Tour golf next year if he doesn't get a decent result in the next couple of weeks. The thing that caught my eye with him is he finished 1st on the Corn Ferry at the Great Abaco Classic. They play it in the Bahamas, and that was particularly windswept. And a previous winner there is Rafael Campos, the current champion. And he beat, in 2019, Vince Whaley. Now, you look at Vince Whaley and his record here, it's very good as well. Whaley was runner-up at that 2023 Great Abaco Classic. There's crossover. You just look at players on the Corn Ferry that have done well, and you look at people that have placed here. There's a lot of them. So I thought Ben Silverman, playing great stuff, 90 to 1, Bet365. 8 places each way. He's in. And I've then got 3 at 100 to 1 or more. Before I go into those, Barry, do you want to, I don't know where your price points are or where you're at. Do you want to insert here or are you going to wait for later?
I'm going to have to let you lead this because I didn't read your tips. but I arrived at the exact same conclusion as your very final tip.
Okay. Paul, you've got a big price as well, haven't you?
I have. I've got one more, and then I'll leave the floor to
Take
you
us
guys.
through yours. People get bored of my words.
Andrew Putnam I've backed at 100 to 1, who's it's been off the boil the last couple of months, but there were some stronger signs last week at the WWT. He opened with a 64, got a hole-in-one in the third round as well. Finished 40th overall, but again, to my point on Justin Lauer, it's not going to be quite as deep in terms of the scoring this week. A bit of wind about it. He's got a great short game. He's great in the wind as well. If you look at his PGA Tour stats for the season, notwithstanding that he has had a rough couple of months, he's still 5th for scrambling and 8th for strokes gained around the green. And he did have a strong mid-season when he found some form. 6th in Canada, 8th at the Rocket Classic, 11th at the Barracuda. So seems to be this kind of player who kind of waxes and wanes with his form. So perhaps that little spark last week with a decent round and the ace there will spur him on. 21st here on debut back in 2020, which was a decent enough effort to give some hope that he can go well this week. So yeah, Andrew Putnam 100 to 1 completes my team.
I have maximised wind performances over the last 5 years on the predictor model, and Andrew Putnam is number 1.
Yeah.
Followed by Luke List. I was really tempted with Luke List. I was following him at the WWT, playing all right, and he shot 82 in round 3.
Yeah, not ideal.
Just to round out the top 3, T3, Sahith Theegala, Sam Ryder, who was in the each way money here last year, Seamus Power, Paul's already tapped him up, and then tied 6th, Eric Cole, Taylor Moore, Bo Hosler. That could be a snippet there for our guy down in Australia. I've gone for 3 more. One of them's a romantic bet, I have to say. First one up, Jeremy Paul. He's Yannick Paul's brother of DP World Tour fame. 100 to 1. I was hoping for a bigger price, actually, but he's actually playing sneakily better than probably, well, the odds compilers know it. 100 to 1, bet 365, 8 place each way. Jeremy Paul. Again, he's down in the 130s. So, top 125. Absolutely massive. This is his first season on the PGA Tour. Born in Frankfurt, lives in Scottsdale. That's totally irrelevant. What is irrelevant, he was the winner of the 2024 Great Exuma Classic. Now, they played out the Ocean Course at Atlantis in the Bahamas. He won that 17 under par. And that was quite another one of these coastal windswept affairs. He was second at Corrales this year, which again, blowing up to 30 miles an hour across Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So I just like the look of Jeremy Paul. I think he was 14th last week, kind of back door. He might be the sort that sneaks you, hopefully, an each-way return. I've gone for Adam Svensson at 140 to 1 with bet 365, 8 place each way. He's really, he's way out of it. 163rd in the FedEx Cup Full Series. He's down in the weeds. However, the last 2 winners of this have been both ranked 147th in the FedEx Cup when arriving. So actually, and they were also above 300 in the world rankings. So Svensson kind of fits. He won the RSM Classic in 2022. He's another one that's won this 2018. He won the 2018 Bahamas Great Abaco Classic, so he's got that kind of form. 5th at Sea Island when defending, 7th at Wailea in 2023. He's a proper Bermuda grass stroke coastal golf course specialist. And he's just been playing a little bit better recently. So I took 140s on Adam Svensson. And then the romantic in me. He is a podcast legend, this guy. He was a vice captain of Keegan Bradley's Team America at the Ryder Cup. He has won twice at Torrey Pines, twice at Pebble Beach, and once at Harbour Town. So if you want a coastal golfer He's not a bad guy. And we have been mentioning him recently. He's just playing slightly better golf. 10th in Puerto Rico this year. 7th at the Memorial. Yes, 7th at the Memorial when given a... Jack gave him a start and he finished 7th. Fair play. 19th at the Pro Tour and 9th a couple of weeks ago at the Bank of Utah Championship. He's actually made 23 PGA Tour starts this year. Bearing in mind, he's a bit of a... he's 41 now, I believe. 44. He's Brandt Snedeker. I got him 100 to 1, bet 365, 8 place each way on Brandt Snedeker. Wouldn't it be fantastic if he could actually grab a conditional status this year for all the work and effort he's put in? So, yeah, I'm on Schneds.
Yeah, certainly been showing a little bit more form, hasn't he? Popping up on the odd leaderboard. Good to see.
Been hitting some greens, mate. He could, this week, if he gets like a top 5, top 8, he could seal a conditional status for next year. He's playing, I believe, off one of these, I think it's top 50 FedEx career earnings status. So when you've made 23 PGA Tour starts, he knows that this year is really important if he wants to remain a PGA Tour member. So, yeah. Adam Svensson, Brandt Snedeker, Jeremy Paul, Ben Silverman, Justin Lauer, Nico Echeverria. Barry, who have you chimed along with?
I'm there with you on Svensson. So yeah, I did
what
a
do you
little
like
bit
about him?
I did a little bit of tweaking around on the predictor, and he was kind of popping mid-table. So the price and that attracted my attention. And then, there was, he's been here before and was 21st last week. So has a bit of motivation to play well to get his status higher. So I kind of just took a little punt.
He's got nothing to sit back on, so it's literally Corn Ferry or bust. Unless he decides he wants to just sort of be one of these guys that hangs around for 12, 14 starts at the Corrales and whatever. Puerto Rico. But yeah, I like Svensson, I must say. I think that's us, chaps, is it?
It is indeed.
I know it's been a packed show and a long one, but it's been a good chat. I hope your bets go well.
Yeah, best luck, guys.
You too, boys.
Best of luck to listeners. If you do have time for a 5-star review and get it in this week, I will read them out at the start of next week's final podcast. So that's a promise. Clearly, we've only got one set of tips for the Wiffle Board Classic next week. So, if you're listening on YouTube, of course, just make a comment for the algorithm. And we will see you again next week. Goodbye.
If you like betting on golf, but everyone that you back misses the cut, get some experts involved with all the stats and the tips and so much more. Cause it's the golf betting system, the golf betting system, it's the golf